How to overcome the fear of death. Stoic practices. The fear of death is a natural human emotion. It's something that we all think about at some point in our lives. But the fear of death can also be debilitating. It can prevent us from living our lives to the fullest. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy that can help us to overcome the fear of death. Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. They also teach us that death is a natural part of life and that it's nothing to be afraid of. In this video, we're going to discuss some Stoic practices that can help you to overcome the fear of death. We'll also talk about how to approach death in a Stoic way. Momento Mori is a Latin phrase that means, remember that you will die. It's a Stoic practice that involves reminding yourself of your own mortality on a daily basis. This may seem morbid, but it's actually a very effective way to overcome the fear of death. When you remind yourself that you're going to die, it forces you to focus on what's important in life. It also helps you to appreciate the time that you have left. There are many ways to practice Momento Mori. You can keep a skull on your desk, or you can simply take a few minutes each day to think about your own death. You can also read books or articles about death, or watch documentaries about it. The important thing is to find a way to remind yourself of your own mortality on a regular basis. This will help you to develop a more Stoic attitude towards death. Another Stoic practice that can help you to overcome the fear of death is to meditate on it. This involves taking some time each day to contemplate your own mortality and what it means to you. At first, this may be difficult, but as you continue to practice, it will become easier, and eventually you'll find that you're no longer afraid of death. To meditate on death, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths and relax your body. Then, begin to think about your own death. Imagine yourself dying. Think about what you feel and what you think. Imagine what it would be like to be no longer alive. Don't be afraid to explore your thoughts and feelings. This is a valuable exercise for overcoming the fear of death. One of the most important lessons of Stoicism is to live in the present moment. This means focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. When you live in the present moment, you're not worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. You're simply enjoying the present moment. This is a very important practice for overcoming the fear of death, because when you're focused on the present moment, you're not thinking about your own mortality. You're simply living your life to the fullest. To live in the present moment, pay attention to your surroundings. Notice the sounds, sights, smells, tastes, and textures that you're experiencing. Be aware of your thoughts and feelings. And when your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the present moment. It takes practice, but eventually you'll be able to live in the present moment more and more often. Death is a natural part of life. It's something that happens to all living things. But many people find it difficult to accept this. They may deny their own mortality or try to avoid thinking about death altogether. However, accepting that death is a natural part of life is an important step in overcoming the fear of death. When you accept that you're going to die, you can start to focus on living your life to the fullest. There are many things in life that we cannot control. We cannot control when or how we die, but we can control how we live our lives. When we focus on what we can control, we feel more in charge of our lives, and this can help to reduce our fear of death. So focus on the things that you can control, such as your thoughts, your actions, and your relationships, and let go of the things that you cannot control, such as the future and the past. Remember that death is a natural part of life, and that it's nothing to be afraid of. And when you die, you will lose nothing but the time you spent alive. Stoic virtues are qualities of character that Stoics believe are essential for living a good life. These virtues include wisdom, courage, justice, temperance. When we practice Stoic virtues, we become more resilient and better able to cope with life's challenges. This includes the challenge of facing death. Here are some specific ways to practice Stoic virtues. Wisdom. Seek to understand the world and your place in it. Study philosophy and learn from the wisdom of others. Courage. Face your fears head-on. Don't shy away from difficult challenges. Justice. Be fair and just in your dealings with others. Temperance. Be moderate in your desires. Avoid extremes of pleasure and pain. By practicing Stoic virtues, you can develop a more Stoic attitude towards death. You can learn to accept death as a natural part of life and to live in the present moment without fear. Seneca was a Roman Stoic philosopher who lived from 4 BC to 65 AD. He was also a tutor to the Roman Emperor Nero. Seneca wrote extensively about death. In one of his letters he said, "Death is the only certain thing in life. Everything else is uncertain." Seneca also said, "Death is not to be feared. It is the end of all suffering." Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher who lived from 121 AD to 180 AD. He is considered to be one of the greatest Stoics of all time. Marcus Aurelius wrote a book called Meditations, which is a collection of his thoughts and reflections on life. In Meditations he said, "Death is not terrible, it is only the end of life." Marcus Aurelius also said, "When you die, you will lose nothing but the time you spent alive." If you're facing death, or if you're simply thinking about it, there are a few things that you can do to approach it in a Stoic way. Accept that death is a natural part of life. Death is not something to be feared. It's simply the end of life. Focus on what you can control. You cannot control when or how you die, but you can control how you live your life. Live in the present moment. Don't worry about the future or dwell on the past. Simply enjoy the present moment. Be grateful for the time that you have. Remember that death is a natural part of life and that it's nothing to be afraid of. The fear of death is a natural human emotion, but it's also something that we can overcome. By following the Stoic practices that we've discussed in this video, you can learn to approach death in a calm and collected way. Remember, death is not something to be feared. It's simply the end of life. And when you die, you will lose nothing but the time you spent alive. So make the most of the time that you have. Live your life to the fullest and be grateful for every moment. In addition to the practices that we've discussed, there are a few other things that you can do to overcome the fear of death. One thing that you can do is to learn more about death. The more you know about death, the less scary it will seem. You can read books and articles about death or watch documentaries about it. You can also talk to people who have experienced the death of a loved one. Another thing that you can do is to find a meaning or purpose in life. When you have a meaning or purpose in life, death is not as scary, because you know that you have lived a meaningful life and that you have made a difference in the world. Finally, remember that you're not alone. Everyone faces death at some point in their lives. And there are many people who can help you to overcome your fear of death. Talk to your friends and family about your fears, or seek professional help from a therapist or counselor. Death is a natural part of life, but it's also something that we can overcome. By following the Stoic practices that we've discussed in this video, you can learn to approach death in a calm and collected way. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos on Stoicism and other topics. And if you have any friends or family members who might be interested in this topic, please share this video with them. Thank you for watching.